Chosen one, what if I told you that love, relationships, and romance were never part of your divine mission? That your journey was designed for something much greater? Have you ever wondered why relationships never seem to work out for you? Why love, instead of bringing peace, feels more like a battlefield? Every time you think you've found someone who understands you, it crumbles. Every time you try to open your heart, something pushes the connection away. It's as if love was never meant to be part of your story. You see others finding companionship, building families, living in a world where romance comes naturally. Yet for you, it's different. No matter how much you try, something always blocks the path. But what if I told you that this isn't a curse? That this isn't bad luck? What if I told you that your solitude was part of a higher design, that romance was never meant to be your focus? They don't want you to realize this. They want you to believe that love is the ultimate goal, that finding the one is the key to happiness. They've fed you lies through society, media, and culture, making you feel incomplete without a partner. But your journey is different. You were not placed here to build a love story. You were placed here to build something far greater. The relationships that never worked were not failures. They were divine interventions. Your solitude is not a punishment. It is a calling. And once you understand the reason behind this, you will stop searching for something that was never meant for you. If this message already resonates with you, type 77 in the comments right now. Because by the time you finish this video, you will see your journey in an entirely new light. Why chosen ones struggle in relationships? You have felt it for as long as you can remember. The longing for love, the desire for companionship, the hope that maybe this time, things will be different. But no matter how much you give, how much you try, love never seems to last. People misunderstand you. They walk away without explanation. They tell you that you're too intense, too deep, too much. And so you've questioned yourself. You've wondered if you're the problem, if maybe you're unlovable, or if you're destined to be alone. But what if I told you that this has never been about you in the way you think? That your struggles with love were never a reflection of your worth, but of your purpose? That romance was never meant to be the center of your life because you were created for something greater? You see, the world has conditioned you to believe that love is the ultimate goal, that finding your person is the key to happiness. But for a chosen one, the rules are different. Your journey is different. And the moment you accept this truth, everything will start to make sense. The struggle has weighed heavy on your heart. You've watched others find love effortlessly, while for you, it has been one battle after another. You've invested in people only to be met with betrayal. You've opened your heart only to have it broken. And at times, it has felt like you were cursed, like love was something always just out of reach. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself why? Why is it that no matter what you do, love never seems to work the way it does for others? It's because you were never meant to be tied to anyone who would limit your calling. Relationships, when they are not aligned with your purpose, become distractions. They pull you away from what you were sent here to do. They consume your time, your energy, your focus. And for a chosen one, that is dangerous. You were designed for a higher mission, and anything that does not serve that mission will be removed from your life. Not as a punishment, but as protection. The Bible speaks directly to this truth in 1 Corinthians 7 verses 32 to 33, where it says, "He that is unmarried careth for the things that belong to the Lord, how he may please the Lord. But he that is married careth for the things that are of the world, how he may please his wife." This scripture reveals something powerful. Those who are set apart for divine work cannot afford to be entangled in relationships that divide their focus. God has placed something within you that requires your full attention. This is why love, as the world defines it, has never worked for you. Because your spirit is not meant to be tethered to anything that pulls you away from your higher calling. The relationships that ended, the people who left, the doors that closed, they weren't rejections. They were redirections. They were divine interventions to keep you from losing yourself in something that was never meant for you. And now you are beginning to see the patterns. Have you noticed how every time you step into alignment with your purpose, distractions appear? Someone enters your life, and suddenly your focus shifts. Your spiritual growth slows. You feel drained, lost, uncertain. This is no accident. The enemy knows that if he can't destroy you, he will try to distract you. He will send people who look like love but are actually sent to weaken your spirit. He will tempt you with companionship, knowing that the wrong relationship can delay your destiny. And so, every time you try to hold on to something that is not meant for you, God steps in. He removes them. He closes the door, not to hurt you but to protect you, because what is coming for you is far greater than any relationship you've lost. Comment solo if this truth resonates with you. You are not alone in this. Many are awakening to the reality that they were never meant to find love the way the world told them they would. And once you embrace this, you will stop chasing what was never meant for you. But here's where things go even deeper, because this isolation you feel, it is not just about relationships. It is about your entire divine purpose. Stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal next will explain why solitude is not a curse, but the greatest blessing of all. The isolation that comes with divine calling. You have felt the shift happening for a long time now. The distance between you and the world has been growing, and no matter how much you've tried to hold on to certain connections, they keep slipping away. The conversations that once felt comfortable now seem forced. The people who used to be part of your life no longer understand you. You can feel the separation, and at times it has been painful. There are moments when you wonder why you are walking this path alone, why no one truly seems to understand your heart, why relationships seem to break before they even begin. But what if I told you that this is not a curse? That this loneliness, this solitude, is not something happening to you, but something happening for you? Chosen ones do not walk the same road as everyone else. Your journey is different, and because of that, your preparation must be different as well. Isolation has always been a part of the process for those who carry divine purpose. This has not been easy for you. There have been nights when the loneliness felt unbearable, moments when you questioned whether you were meant to be alone forever. You have watched others form friendships, fall in love, build families, while you have struggled to find people who truly see you. And every time you do find someone who seems to understand, something happens. A betrayal, a misunderstanding, a sudden loss of connection. Over and over again, you've had to let go, even when you didn't want to. But here's what you need to understand. The reason why these connections keep breaking is not because you are unworthy, but because you are being set apart. You are not meant to be surrounded by people who will pull you away from your purpose. You are not meant to be tied to those who do not align with your destiny. The solitude you are experiencing is not a punishment. It is divine protection. The Bible confirms this over and over again. In Zephaniah 3 verse 17, it says, "The Lord thy God in the midst of thee is mighty. He will save, he will rejoice over thee with joy. He will rest in his love, he will joy over thee with singing." This verse is a powerful reminder that even when you feel alone, you are never truly alone. God is with you in your isolation. He is preparing you, refining you, shaping you into the person you need to be for the mission he has assigned to you. Look at the greatest figures in history, both biblical and beyond. Moses was alone in the wilderness before he was called to lead his people. Elijah was hidden before his greatest miracles. Even Jesus himself spent time in the desert before stepping fully into his purpose. The pattern is clear. Isolation is not rejection. It is preparation. It is in solitude that your gifts are sharpened, your purpose is revealed, and your connection to the divine becomes unbreakable. And now something is shifting inside of you. You are beginning to see the truth in this solitude. The loneliness that once felt like a burden is starting to feel like a calling. You are noticing that in your time alone, you are growing. You are learning. You are receiving revelations that you never would have had if you had been surrounded by the noise of the world. Your intuition is getting stronger. Your ability to discern truth from lies is sharpening. You are becoming more connected to yourself, to your purpose, to your higher calling. And here's the most important part. The more you embrace this season of isolation, the more clarity you will receive. The distractions are being stripped away so that you can finally see clearly. And once you do, you will realize that this was never about loneliness. It was about alignment. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. Comment called If you are beginning to see the purpose behind your solitude, you were never meant to walk the same path as everyone else. You were set apart, chosen for something greater. But this goes even deeper because relationships don't just fail randomly. They fail because romance itself can be a weapon against your purpose. Stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal next will show you why love was never meant to be your focus. If you're still watching, it means this message is resonating with your soul. Society will try to tell you that you are missing out, that love is something you should chase. But what if I told you that love itself can be a distraction? Take a moment to subscribe, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and if you want to support this message, click the super thanks button below, because what I'm about to reveal next will explain why romance was never part of your divine mission, how romance can distract you from your higher purpose. There was a time when you believed that love was meant to complete you, that finding the right person would bring you peace, stability, and a sense of belonging. You were taught that love was the ultimate goal, the missing piece that would make everything make sense. But every time you tried, every time you gave your heart, something pulled you away. Relationships that started with promise ended in confusion. People you trusted turned into lessons. Love, instead of bringing clarity, brought chaos. You tried to hold on, to fight for something that always seemed just out of reach, wondering if you were the problem. But what if I told you that this wasn't about you at all? What if I told you that love was never meant to be the center of your life because you were called for something greater? You see, for a chosen one, romance is not just an emotional experience, it is a spiritual entanglement. And if the person you connect with is not aligned with your destiny, they can pull you away from it before you even realize what's happening. This is why love has felt more like a battle than a blessing for you. Every time you open your heart, your energy shifts, your focus divides. The things that once seemed clear become clouded. You start prioritizing the relationship, and without realizing it, your spiritual growth slows. You compromise in ways you never expected. You lose pieces of yourself trying to hold on to something that was never meant to last. Have you ever noticed how, when you are single, your mind is sharp, your creativity flows, your intuition is strong, your sense of purpose is undeniable? But the moment you get into the wrong relationship, everything changes. You start doubting yourself. You feel drained, uncertain, disconnected from your mission. That is because not every love is sent by God. Some relationships are divine blessings, but others, they are distractions. They are placed in your path not to help you grow, but to delay you from reaching your full potential. And if the enemy can't destroy you, he will send someone to distract you. The Bible warns of this in Judges 16 verse 19, when Delilah caused Samson to lose his strength. He was chosen, powerful, anointed, but the wrong love left him vulnerable. Samson's destiny was written long before he met Delilah, but one relationship was enough to bring him to his knees. And this is what many chosen ones do not realize. Love, when not aligned with your purpose, can weaken your spirit. It can strip you of your focus, drain your energy, and leave you disconnected from your true mission. This is why you must be careful. Not everyone is meant to walk with you. Not everyone can handle your calling. And the moment you give your heart to someone who is not aligned with your purpose, you open the door to unnecessary battles. This is why your relationships keep failing. Not because you are unworthy of love, but because God is protecting you from connections that would destroy the very thing you were sent here to do. And now you are starting to see the truth. The patterns are becoming clearer. The relationships that didn't work were never meant to. The heartbreaks that nearly broke you were actually redirections. Every time you thought you lost love, you were being saved. Every time someone left, it was because they could not go where you are going. And now something is shifting. You are learning to trust the process, to stop fighting against what God is removing from your life. You are beginning to see that your greatest strength comes when you are fully focused on your mission. The moments of solitude that once felt lonely now feel sacred. You are stepping into alignment, and as you do, the distractions are falling away. The things that used to tempt you no longer have power over you. The people who once drained you no longer have access to you. You are reclaiming your energy, your power, your purpose. And this is what terrifies them the most. Because the moment you stop chasing what was never meant for you, you become unstoppable. Comment focus. If you understand why love has never worked for you, you are not alone in this. Many are awakening to the realization that they were never meant to find love in the way the world told them they would. But here's where everything changes, because true love for a chosen one does exist, but not in the way you've been told. Stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal next will show you how to find the fulfillment you've been searching for, without losing yourself in the process. You were never meant to find love the way others do, but that doesn't mean you were meant to be without love altogether. How to embrace your path without feeling alone. There are moments when the solitude feels unbearable, when you look around and wonder why you are walking this path alone. You have watched others build relationships, create families, find companionship, while you have been left with silence. It's easy to question, easy to believe that maybe something is wrong with you, that maybe you are incomplete without another person by your side. The world has told you that love is the answer, that being with someone is the ultimate goal, and that if you are alone, you must be missing something. But that is a lie. You were never meant to find fulfillment in another person. Your purpose was never to complete someone, nor to be completed. You were created whole from the very beginning, and the love you have been searching for has been within you all along. The moment you stop seeking it in external relationships, you will finally find the peace you have been craving. The struggle is real, though. You have spent years trying to connect with others, only to feel misunderstood. You have given love only to be left empty. You have been vulnerable only to be met with betrayal. And at times, you have questioned if maybe you are meant to be alone forever. That fear has weighed heavily on your heart. Society has conditioned you to believe that solitude is something to be feared, that being single is a curse, that happiness is only found when you are sharing your life with someone else. But what if I told you that being alone is not the same as being lonely? That the solitude you have been given is not a punishment, but a gift? Your mission is different. Your journey requires a level of focus, a level of connection with the divine, that most people cannot comprehend. Relationships, for many, are a source of comfort, but for a chosen one, they can become a source of distraction. You have been set apart for something higher, and the more you embrace that, the more you will see that you were never lacking love. You were always surrounded by it. The Bible speaks to this in Isaiah 41 verse 10, where it says, "Fear thou not, for I am with thee, be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee, yea, I will help thee, yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness." This is your confirmation. You are not alone, nor have you ever been. God has been with you in every moment of silence, in every season of solitude, in every tear you have cried wondering why things never worked out the way you thought they would. He has been guiding you, protecting you, keeping you from relationships that would have hindered your purpose. You were never abandoned. You were never forgotten. You were being prepared. And the moment you shift your perspective, the moment you realize that your greatest love story is not with another person, but with your Creator, everything will change. You do not need validation from this world. You do not need to chase love, because the love that is meant for you has already been written into your destiny, and it will find you when the time is right. And now you are starting to see the transformation. Have you noticed that the more you embrace your path, the less you crave the relationships that once consumed you? That the more you step into your purpose, the less you feel the need to seek validation from another person. This is not detachment, it is alignment. You are no longer trying to fill a void that was never meant to be filled by a human connection. You are no longer giving your energy to things that drain you. Instead, you are pouring into yourself, into your mission, into the divine work you were sent here to do. And as you do, everything is shifting. The sadness that once came with being alone is turning into peace. The longing for someone to complete you is fading, because you now realize that you were never incomplete. You are walking in your power, fully aware of who you are and why you are here. And in that space, in that clarity, you will find the deepest love of all, the love that comes from knowing that you are exactly where you are meant to be. Comment whole if you are ready to embrace your path without fear. You were not created to live according to the world's expectations. You were created to rise above them. The loneliness you once feared was never loneliness at all. It was the space you needed to become the person you were always meant to be. You are not missing anything. You are not incomplete. The love you have been searching for was never in another person. It was always within you, and now you have the power to move forward, not with sadness, but with confidence. You are chosen, you are whole, and you are walking into the future that was always meant for you. You have spent so much of your life trying to understand why you don't fit into the mold the world has created. You have watched as others find love effortlessly, as they build relationships, start families, and move through life with a sense of belonging. Meanwhile, your path has been different. Love has felt like a battlefield. Relationships have brought more pain than peace, and every time you thought you had found someone who truly saw you, something pulled them away. You have questioned whether you were meant to be alone, whether something is missing within you, whether you are somehow unworthy of the love that others seem to experience so easily. But what if I told you that you were never meant to follow the same path as everyone else? That love, as the world defines it, was never your purpose? That your calling is higher, your journey is different, and the solitude you have faced was never a punishment, but a sign of your awakening? For years, you may have struggled with the weight of loneliness, feeling as if you were walking this journey without a true companion. Society has conditioned you to believe that love and relationships are the ultimate markers of success, that without a partner by your side, your life is incomplete. This belief has been reinforced through movies, music, and culture, making you feel as though you are missing out on something essential. And yet, every time you have tried to walk the same path as others, it has led to heartbreak. Every time you have sought love as the world defines it, you have been met with resistance. But here is the truth. You were never meant to find fulfillment in another person. The deep longing you feel is not for romance, but for purpose. It is the calling of your spirit, reminding you that you were sent here to do something greater than simply finding companionship. Your soul knows this, even when your heart struggles to accept it. The Bible confirms this in Isaiah 55 verses 8 to 9, where God says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." This is your reminder that your journey is not meant to look like everyone else's. The world follows a pattern, a script that has been laid out for them. But chosen ones do not follow that script. Your path has been written by divine hands, and it does not follow the same structure as those around you. You may have wondered why certain relationships in your life seem to crumble just when you thought they were solid. Maybe you found yourself clinging to connections that eventually faded away or lost a love you thought was forever. It's only natural to question, to grieve, and to feel the weight of these losses. You are not alone in this. Every tear shed, every moment spent wondering why your heart feels so different. These experiences are deeply human, yet they are also a sign of something greater, something that cannot be ignored. If you are here, it is because you felt that stirring within, that quiet, persistent voice telling you that your path is not like everyone else's. And the truth is, you are right. You have been set apart, not because you are unworthy, but because you are chosen. It's hard to let go of what once felt safe. The end of a relationship can feel like the end of a chapter you weren't ready to close. Rejection can sting deeply, leaving you wondering if you'll ever find what you're looking for. Solitude, while sometimes a space for growth, can also feel like a heavy burden. These feelings are not uncommon. It can be incredibly isolating to realize that the connections others seem to form with ease never quite work out the same way for you. But what if these losses were not random? What if every relationship that ended, every love that slipped away, and every tear shed in the quiet of night were part of a grand design? A divine plan not meant to harm you, but to prepare you for something far greater. This perspective doesn't erase the pain, but it does give it purpose. You weren't meant to stay in places that would limit your growth. You weren't meant to settle. Every separation has been a step toward awakening. Psalm 66 verses 10 to 12 offers a lesser-known glimpse into this process of transformation. For you, O God, tested us. You refined us like silver. You brought us into the net. You laid burdens on our backs. You let people ride over our heads. We went through fire and water, but you brought us to a place of abundance. This passage reminds us that the journey is not without its trials. It acknowledges the struggles, the fire, the water, the weight, and yet it points to a destination of abundance. You may have walked through the fire of heartbreak, the waters of uncertainty, and the burden of loneliness, but these experiences were never meant to destroy you. They were meant to refine you. Like silver in the heat, your character, strength, and spirit are being shaped. The relationships that fell apart were not failures. They were necessary steps towards something much greater. They were lessons, preparations, and signals that you are destined for more than you could have imagined. As you begin to step fully into this truth, the signs of transformation become undeniable. Suddenly, the energy that was once drained by relationships not meant for you is free to flow toward your higher purpose. You find yourself no longer tethered to a cycle of seeking validation or completion from others. Instead, you start to recognize the abundance that already exists within you. The peace you've sought from external sources begins to rise from within, steady and unshakable. Doors that once seemed firmly closed now begin to open. New opportunities appear, not just in career or projects, but in meaningful, fulfilling connections with others who see you for who you truly are. The longing for love that consumed you in the past transforms into a hunger for something greater, a calling that fuels you, aligns you, and fills you with purpose. This is the awakening you've been waiting for. This is what it feels like to walk in your truth. So now it's time to embrace your identity as a chosen one. You were never meant to live according to the world's expectations. Your path has always been different, and that difference is your strength. Love, as defined by the world, was never the final destination. It was a stepping stone towards something far more profound, a true understanding of who you are and why you are here. You no longer need to chase what was never meant for you. Instead, you can walk boldly in your divine purpose, fully assured that you are exactly where you are supposed to be. Comment, "I am chosen," if this resonates with your soul. Let the world know that you have awakened to your truth. Your journey, though filled with trials, carries a purpose far greater than the challenges you've faced. Think about the weight you've carried, those moments of doubt, those seasons of loss. They weren't just random occurrences. They were a refining process, shaping you into the person you are today. It's only natural to feel the heaviness of the struggle, to wonder if there's meaning behind it all. But take heart in this truth. You're not alone. Others have walked a similar path, and now they stand alongside you, bearing their own light. Together, you form a mosaic of resilience, each piece telling a story of hope and transformation. What you've been through isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of something beautiful. The obstacles you've encountered, the times when life seemed to turn against you, these weren't meant to defeat you. They were meant to strengthen you, to prepare you for a purpose that is only now coming into focus. Perhaps you've experienced loss that left you reeling, or endured seasons of loneliness that seemed to stretch on forever. Maybe you felt misunderstood, as if your inner light was too bright for those around you to truly see. These struggles may have felt isolating, but they were never in vain. They were the forge through which your spirit was tempered. They have given you a depth of compassion, a well of empathy, and a wisdom that can only come from having walked through the fire. It's because of these struggles, not in spite of them, that you are now capable of becoming a beacon for others who are still finding their way. In the book of Zechariah, chapter 13, verse 9, we find a passage that speaks to this process of refinement. "I will bring that third part through the fire, refine them as silver is refined, and test them as gold is tested. They will call on my name, and I will answer them. I will say, 'They are my people,' and they will say, 'The Lord is my God.'" This verse reminds us that the refining fire is not punishment. It is an essential step in becoming who we were always meant to be. Just as silver and gold must go through intense heat to emerge pure and radiant, so too must we face trials to become the person we were created to be. The sacred nature of your journey lies in this very truth. You are not being broken. You are being refined. Each challenge, each loss, each struggle is a step closer to the person you were destined to become. This process is sacred because it aligns you with the divine purpose for which you were chosen. Subscribe, share, and spread this message. because you are not alone, and your light has the power to ignite a movement. The rise of the chosen ones has begun, and you are leading the way.